Number 1.
Have you turned the lights on in here? This room is very bright all of a sudden.
Yes, I know it's not evening yet, but it's so cloudy today.
Well, I don't know if we should waste electricity.
Number 2.
Watch out! That truck is in the wrong lane.
Thanks for pointing it out. I was looking the other way.
Crossing the road is a nightmare around here.
Number 3.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I'm so grateful this week is over.
It felt like it would never end.
Number 4.
Have you seen my coat anywhere?
It was hanging in the closet this morning, next to my green jacket.
I'll go look.
Number 5.
I think I need to change my car. The battery keeps going dead.
That's an expensive way to change a battery.
Nah, there's too many other things that need fixing too.
Number 6.
Are you going to that concert Mark invited us to last week?
I'm thinking about it. I quite like classical music.
Me too.
Number 7.
I'm so glad you could make it.
I do apologize for being late, though. It's not like me at all.
Don't worry about it.
Number 8.
Did you finally get a chance to check out that new shoe store I was telling you about?
I haven't managed to yet, but I will.
You won't regret it.
Number 9.
Have I shown you my new laptop?
No, you told me it had been delivered to your office yesterday, but I haven't seen it.
Come by tomorrow then.
Number 10.
They're expecting rain again this weekend.
I heard it too. Let's hope it won't ruin my trip this Sunday.
I'm hoping to get some gardening done myself.
Number 11.
I need to buy a new pair of shoes.
Need some company? I'd like to get something from the sales.
Okay, how about tomorrow afternoon?
Number 12.
Has Helen's flight been delayed?
Yes, apparently her plane won't land until almost midnight.
That's too bad.
Number 13.
Don't buy that new car stereo you've been admiring. I'm planning to get it for you for Christmas.
Really? That's very thoughtful of you. Number 14.
I'm finally going traveling this summer.
That's great. You've been planning to do it for a while now.
You can say that again.
Number 15.
Do you remember my coworker, Jonathan?
I think so. He's tall and wears glasses, right?
Yeah, he's the one.
Number 16.
I do hope it snows again this winter. It was brilliant last time.
I know what you mean. The kids loved it too. Number 17.
It's 8 o'clock already and no one has arrived.
I'm not sure what's keeping them.
Are you certain they know the party's today?
End of part 1. Number 18.
What's the plan for tomorrow?
Number 19.
You'll have to come to our place for dinner sometime. How about Friday?
Number 20.
How did you say you're going to Seattle?
Number 21.
I'm going to Chicago next week for a wedding. Any ideas on where I should stay?
Number 22.
And what about Kelly? Did you have a word with her, as I asked?
Number 23.
When are you seeing the dentist?
Number 24.
Barcelona is such a wonderful city. How come she won't be going?
Number 25.
Do you want to come over for dinner?
Number 26.
Do you think you'll be promoted this time?
Number 27.
I think it would be better to take it in turns.
Number 28.
Do you think I should call her and apologize?
Number 29.
Can you make out what that sign we're passing says?
Number 30.
Why would Pauline dismiss my idea like that?
Number 31.
We're all going to a Thai restaurant this evening. How about joining us?
Number 32.
Why did you skip class this morning?
Number 33.
What comments did the professor make about your term paper?
Number 34.
Have Matt and Kylie made up yet?
Number 35.
I missed that Fellini movie on TV last night. Did you see it?
End of Part 2. Segment 1. Christian Rudd's, a biologist at the University of Oxford in England, studies the famous tool-using abilities of New Caledonian crows in the laboratory. But when he and his colleagues undertook their first trip to the South Pacific in 2003 to observe the birds in the wild, they knew it would be difficult. Tricia Green tells us more.
Crows are very shy and very sensitive to disturbance, so efforts to observe the birds foraging for larvae and other food with small sticks and leaves could easily affect their behavior. Dr. Rutz found he really needed a way to spy on them. That was when the idea was born. Why not hitch a ride with a wild crow? Dennis Miles.
The result, after several years of development, was a 14-gram video camera, location tracking transmitter, and battery. The groundbreaking innovation was that the device could be attached to a crow's tail feathers and later drop off when the birds molt.
The lens points between the crow's legs and transmits about an hour of video to researchers nearby. Dr. Rutz and his 3 colleagues captured more than 7 hours of video that sheds new light on the behavior of New Caledonian crows, one of only a few species, including humans, which use tools.
Among other findings, the researchers report that 2 crows fashioned tools from dried grass stems, a previously unknown tool, and used them to probe the ground, apparently searching for ants. This was repeated a number of times in a number of locations, showing that this action was not simply chance, but a deliberate search for food resources.
One crow showed a preference for a particular stick, using it, putting it down, using it again, and then flying with it about 90 meters to a new location. Dr. Rutz said this behavior suggested that the cost of transportation is outweighed by the benefits of this being a particularly good tool.
Number 36. What does Christian Rudd study? Number 37. What was novel about the cameras used to observe the birds? Number 38. How many hours of video did Dr. Rutz get for his study? Number 39. Why were the crows using the dried grass stems? Number 40. Why did one crow show preference for a particular stick? Segment 2. In the latest of our series of book reviews, we look at a book which examines one particular aspect concerning the history of books which is often forgotten. Mary Feltham explains.
Books are considered as much of a menace as they are a blessing. Books on Fire, written by a French historian who specializes in Chinese and Arab studies, is about those who regarded books as a threat and consequently burnt them. It's a book about the destruction of libraries throughout history. Michael Flynn.
Books educate people, and educated people ask awkward questions of those who govern them. The educated, in short, are considered ungovernable. Better to keep people ignorant of the past than to concentrate their minds upon the fanciful utopia that lies ahead. This is what Chairman Mao thought, and many dictators who came before him.
The millennia-long story of the organized destruction of books begins centuries before the birth of Christ. Persian invaders destroyed the book collections of ancient Egypt. The great Alexandrian library, created by the Ptolemies, was destroyed by Augustus Caesar in 48 BC. One of the principal reasons for much of this destruction was simple. The books of my enemy are my enemy.
Books on Fire records the precious and inestimable things that have been lost forever, all the poetry of Cicero, for example. Then the author addresses, almost by way of a coda, a development that threatens books today and which is very much alive in our major libraries. This is the replacement of real books by sometimes unreadable copies on microfiche.
In a way, Books on Fire is an enthralling and terrifying read, yet it is also something of a disappointment. The translation from French is often clumsy. The book lacks consistency of tone. Sometimes it reads gravely, at others it indulges in a kind of slapdash humor. The story, for all its shortcomings, is a troubling and profoundly important one.
Number 41. What is the central theme of Books on Fire? Number 42. What does the woman say about educated people? Number 43. When did the systematic distractions of books start? Number 44. What does the author say is happening in major libraries today? Number 45. How has the book disappointed the woman? Segment 3. In these days of environmental concern, the spotlight has frequently fallen on countries which already experience an extreme climate, such as Greenland, and which serve as a barometer for climate change. Doug Manning reports.
Greenland, a self-governing province of Denmark, was settled by Viking Eric the Red in the 10th century, after his murderous ways got him ejected from Iceland. There were forests and fertile soil then, and the Vikings grew crops and raised sheep for hundreds of years, but when temperatures dropped precipitously in the so-called Little Ice Age, which began in the 18th century, the Norse settlers died out and agriculture was no longer possible. Olga Svensson?
Today, there are 51 farms in Greenland. They are all sheep farms, although one man is trying to raise cattle. He has 22 cows. But now that the climate is warming, a Greenlandic supermarket is stocking locally grown cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage for the first time. 8 sheep farmers are growing potatoes commercially. 5 more are experimenting with vegetables. Except for potatoes, the only vegetables Greenlanders used to eat were imported from Denmark.
These days, cod, which prefer warmer waters, have started appearing off the coast again. Ewes are having fatter lambs and more of them every season. The growing season lasts about 3 weeks longer than a decade ago. There are even scattered reports of successful strawberry crops in the odd home garden.
Farther north, Greenland's Great Ice Sheet, a vast white landscape of 1.8 million square kilometers, covering 80% of the island's landmass, is melting rapidly, alarmingly, with repercussions not only for the traditional way of life on an island of 56,000 people, but also for the rest of the world. The more the ice melts, the higher the sea levels will rise.
But in the subarctic south, a land of icy water, forbidding mountains, rocky hills, shallow soil, sudden winds, and isolated communities, slipped in along a network of glacier-studded fjords, the changes are more subtle and carry more promise. The limiting factor for human survival here is temperature, and there are a lot of benefits with a warmer climate. Even a few degrees can make a difference to the frontier of agriculture.
Number 46. What was Greenland like before the 18th century? Number 47. How is life changing in Greenland today? Number 48. What does the speaker say about strawberries? Number 49. According to the woman, what are the consequences of the melting ice for Greenlanders? Number 50. What does the man imply about climate change for Greenland? End of part 3. End of the listening test.